Okay, so this is the follow-up video to the lose fat and build muscle video. We're in that video. I did a part of training routine, and I'm going to go through all those movements in this video so I can demonstrate them with lighter weight, just so I can talk through the routine, talk through the technique and some of the form cues that I use to do that entire routine. So yeah, and I'm going to give you some alternative movements as well, just in case you don't have some of the equipment. So yeah, also I'm not a personal trainer as well, just want to get that across, so take whatever I say with a pinch of salt. This is from me for training now for 2.5 years, and yeah. So let's start with the first day, which is chest, triceps and legs. Which leads on to our first movement, the incline dumbbell press. Now to set an incline up, it's usually the third or fourth notch onto your bench to get an incline. An alternative movement to this is just doing the press up if you haven't got any equipment, or just doing the flat dumbbell press, it's all fine. I just prefer doing an incline just because it's more of the upper chest more. And also with this movement, it's a compound movement, so we also hit the front of your shoulders and your triceps. Now to actually execute this movement, you obviously want to have the dumbbells on both of your knees, then flick them up into the pressing position straight away. And what you'll have is a slight arch in your back, and keep your chest nice and proud. Don't crumple all your chest. And what you want to do is, if you can only bring it down to your chest, that's completely fine. Keep your chest nice and proud, and then push back up. But what I do is personally, keep a slight arch in your back, chest proud, and just bring the dumbbells just to the outside of your chest, around about to your armpits area, just for a brief second and straight back up. When I do that, I feel a lot of my chest activate. That's what I do, and I've seen quite a few results from doing it. So it's nice and easy. Slight arch in the back, nice proud chest, and back up. Nice and slowly, control the full range of motion, and that's the first exercise done. Which now leads on to our second movement, which is the flat dumbbell flies. I've put you down here just because it makes life easier. But yeah, there will be 2 sets of dumbbell flies now. An alternative movement to this would just be to have no bench at all and just do it on the floor, which would limit your range of motion, but you've got to do what you've got to do with your equipment. So obviously 2 dumbbells here, and put them both on your lap. And what you want to do is just once again kick back and then up into the press position. And what you want to do is just bring them down. And what I do is personally, I can keep my elbows nice and bent. And this is what feels better to me. If I keep them all out and bent, like out and straight, it puts a lot of strain on my biceps and wrists. So I like keeping my elbows nice and bent and tucked in. Then up and down, maybe pause for a second down here. Nice big deep stretch. Then back up again. Yeah, this movement feels nice and comfortable to me when I do it in this fashion, but do what suits you and what feels better. So yeah, it'll be 2 sets of this movement, and that's the chest already covered. Okay, so that's the chest portion of this routine covered. So 3 sets of incline dumbbell press and 2 sets of dumbbell flies, which now leads us on to triceps. And the first movement being dumbbell overhead extensions, where you just take 1 dumbbell like this, and what you do is, we'll hold it from a side angle, which makes it easier. It's easy enough, put it over your head, then come down nice and slowly with your elbows relatively tucked in, and straight back up. Nice and easiest movement, it isolates the long head. You can do one dumbbell at a time if you want, instead of just 1 arm at a time, rather than 1 dumbbell, which can make life easier. So if I turn around just like this, keep your elbows nice and tucked in, deep stretch at the bottom and straight back up. And as I said, the alternative movements, this could just be doing 1 at a time, so 1 over your head. This can be quite heavy. And there's 1 over your head. This was quite uncomfortable to me, but once again, do what suits you. But yeah, you can just do 1 at a time like that. But yeah, that's the overhead triceps extensions done. Nice and easy movement, and you'll do that for 2 sets. Which leads on to our next tricep movement, which is the dumbbell JM press. And we've already isolated the long head with our overhead extension. Now you've got to hit the other heads with this movement. And what you want to do is, it's actually quite easy to actually explain like this, is as you're coming down onto the bench, just bring the dumbbells down to around by your ears, then press back up. Imagine like you're trying to take off a pair of glasses, is probably the best way I could put it. So down there at the bottom and try and press back up. It's going to be a bit difficult to record in this angle, but as I said, just come down on a flat bench, dumbbells up, then bring them down like you're putting on a pair of glasses, then straight back up. And this will obviously be done for 2 sets, for 4 sets in total for the triceps. Elbows relatively tucked in, what feels comfortable to you. Same with the overhead extension, just do what feels comfortable to you. Yeah, nice and easy movement. Which now leads on to the final portion of this routine. We're finishing up with the legs, and our first movement is going to be a dumbbell squat. What I do is personally is I flick the dumbbells onto my shoulders. An alternative movement to this can be a goblet squat or just a bodyweight squat, whatever suits your needs and what feels good to you. But I prefer doing this because the weight can take, the shoulders can take the weight, and just making it easier to move. When I do a goblet squat, I feel a lot in my wrist, and it feels it hurts quite a lot. So what you want to do is make sure you're safe with this movement, because it can be quite difficult to start off with. So both dumbbells here, flick onto your shoulders and stand up with them. And what you want to have is your feet about around about shoulder width, with your feet slightly pointed outwards. Hinge your hips a slight bit and just come down nice and slowly to wherever feels comfortable to you, then straight back up. So I said the shoulders can take the weight of the dumbbells, come down as low as physically possible that feels good to you in your knees and your joints, and it's alright. 3 sets of this. Yeah, this is the quads of this movement covered. Which now leads on to the final exercise in this routine, which is Romanian deadlift, which stands for RDLs. What you want to do is take 2 dumbbells. This obviously hits your hamstrings. You can do this one at a time if you want, instead of doing it both at the same time. But yeah, this is going to hit your hamstrings and also your arse, also known as your glutes. So what you do is take 2 dumbbells here. Same again, round about shoulder width apart with your feet. Slight bending your elbows and just come down a little bit till you feel tension into your hamstrings. You don't have to go all the way down until you touch your toes. Just do it until where you feel tension in your hamstring, rolling up the back of your leg. Keep a nice flat back. I'll change my stance here so it makes life a bit easier. Hinge your hips. Think about aiming your arse to the other side of the room in the least gay way possible. So slight bend in your knees, straight back, and that's it. Down to where you feel tension. You don't have to go all the way down to your toes. And that'll hit your hamstrings and also your glutes. So that's the first day covered of this sample training routine. Now it's on to the next day where we're going to be covering back, biceps and shoulders, and with the first movement doing a freestanding dumbbell row. Now straight away an alternative movement to this could just be with an incline bench, so that's chest support if it feels too much strain onto your lower back. With doing it freestanding, hits all of your muscle, the majority of your back muscles, all the way from the traps all the way down to your lower back, because you're in that fixed position in a freestanding motion. But if that's too much for your lower back or just in general, then obviously in course have a bench instead. And also you can just do a one-arm dumbbell row, but I like doing them freestanding, it just feels better to me, but pick whatever you like. And which obviously 3 sets of this movement. So 2 dumbbells here, and it's sort of again same sort of movement as the RDL in terms of hinging at our hips, coming down, nice flat back, bit of a bend in the knees, and just coming straight up to maybe near your nipples. Nice easy movement, straight back, nice stretch of the bottom, control it. Yeah, 3 sets of this. I think this is your best choice for a back movement. I struggle growing my back, but I feel this the most when I do it, but it feels what's comfortable to you. It's also going to indirectly hit your biceps because it's a pulling movement, and also the back of your shoulders. So once again, it's a compound movement. Which leads on to our second exercise, which is the dumbbell pullover. And this exercise is going to hit our lats, our teres major, and also the long head of our triceps. And there's 2 ways you can do this movement. You can either do it laying across the bench, so obviously you're laying down like that, or laying over it, which is what I prefer to do and what I'm going to show. So you also want to take 1 dumbbell here, come to the edge of the bench, keep your hips nice and low, so it already causes a bit of a stretch onto your lats. And we all do is just come down, straight arms, relatively straight. If there's a bit of a bend, that's no problem, but just don't bend it all the way, because then that turns into a complete tricep movement. Yeah, then just bring it down here, there's a lot of tension on the lats, and straight back up. Relatively straight arms, down as far as you can physically go, that feels fine on your shoulders. And yeah, a lot of stretch onto the lats, teres major and triceps, as I said, indirectly. And this is going to be done for 3 sets in total. Okay, so that's the back portion of this sample routine finished. Now we're going to move on to biceps and completely isolate them with the dumbbell bicep incline curl. So what you want to do is, obviously an alternative movement to this is just doing a standard standing bicep curl, which is completely fine. I just prefer doing it on the bench and feels a bit more stable and you get a bit more of a stretch at the bottom, but I just prefer doing it in general. There's no fuss whatever way you do it. So what you want to do is, and also with the incline, you can do it whatever notch you want. I'm doing it around about the 4th notch. That's what feels comfortable to me. So obviously take 2 dumbbells here, just bring them back, start off with the top position, lower them down nice and slowly, keep it there for a second and straight back up. You don't need a million on 1 exercises to cover the biceps, because the biceps only function is to bend the elbow joint. So yeah, that was a mistake I made when I first started training. I did about 20 exercises for biceps, which isn't needed. Just 1 or 2 decent ones. This is my favourite one, and yeah, this for 3 sets. Which now leads on to our final movement, which is the dumbbell lateral raise, which hits the side of the shoulders, which typically gets neglected in compound movements, where the front of the shoulders gets hit in bench pressing, and the back of the shoulders, the rear delts, gets hit in back movements and then rowing. So yeah, the side of the shoulders typically gets neglected compared to the other sides. So what you want to do is, I typically do dumbbell lateral raises on an incline bench. You can just do it standing on a straight up bench. So what you want to do is bring the dumbbells down here with a slight bend in your elbows, bring them up to the top as far as you physically can. And the best thing about this movement is when you can't do any more of this up here, you can still do it in the bottom range here and do some partial reps, which will still cause growth. So yeah, some partial reps here at the bottom, which is still good enough. Okay, so that concludes all the demonstrations for the exercises on the 3-day split. I'm obviously not going to do the full body day because all those exercises I've just covered, they're split into one big full body day. Sorry for any of the potential crappy camera angles. You know, it's quite difficult in the confinements of my room. I didn't want to go to the gym and record all this and be a tripod twat, so I tried the best I could. Okay, so I'm going to go with a bit of an overview of the split now, some of its positives. One of them being that's not going to be very time consuming because it's only 3 days you've got to train, and the sets and all that are very low in volume, so it's not going to take up too much of your time. And also with that, each muscle group is still hit twice per week, either through isolation or through compound movements. So that with triceps, for example, the reason that's not in the full body day is because it already gets 4 isolation sets, plus it gets hit in chest press and the dumbbell pullovers. So I didn't think it was worthwhile putting into the full body day triceps. And also with that, as I said, you only need literally a bench and a pair of dumbbells to do all these exercises, so it's very efficient in that regard as well. And with that, all those exercises can be done in a rep range between 5 and 30 repetitions. Obviously I was just demonstrating the movement, so I was sort of using lightweight just to show you how to actually execute them. But make sure you pick a weight that's challenging to you with a good range of motion and something you can progressive overload do over time, something you can increase the weight or repetitions with, and something you can stay safe with.